So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about an update about my views on Jedi. Just so that you know, it's me. Um, yeah, it is me. I'm very tired. I haven't been able to do this drawing because I had a client's picture to do, which took up 2 days, and then I was I have a family business to do. I just haven't done anything on it. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as it was before. It's just the drawing that is just taking for absolute ever because I've had so many issues going on. And so I'm hoping to finish it, but I'm away for 3 days again because of a family situation, so I can't really do anything then either. All I'm doing now, just before I go on, so people know what I'm doing, is prior to this I used a lot of pencils to get the whole thing done, and then what I do towards the end process is start using charcoal to really kind of get the dark. So as you can see, right now it's kind of grey. So what I'll do is I'll keep on adding blacks into it and just kind of adding detail, because at the moment it's very, very rough. Obviously this is my 1984 is here with the fascist YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Google. Obviously Google is part of YouTube, but and this poor dude, once again, for eternity, he's got the boot on his head. Still got to do all of this, man. I don't know what's going on. It's just a complete nightmare. So what I'm going to talk about is my views on Jedi, because it's been updated. Obviously, I can't update my views on Raspet because I haven't spoken to him. But I did speak to Jedi yesterday for quite a long time on a live chat, which I thought was very fruitful. I was glad I went on there. My views have changed from that particular video from before, because the thing is, I put that video was being uploaded just as I was talking on the live stream, and only reason it wasn't uploaded earlier was because I had a problem with my internet. It just wasn't downloading quick enough, so it took like 4 hours to download. And so that particular video that I did before, I still stand by it because that's how I felt at that time. Yeah, so I documented how I felt at that time. And so, there's a comment from Jedi saying that, oh, I'm lying about him. No, I can only be lying about you if I genuinely did not believe what I was saying. I believed 100% what I was saying at that precise moment. Do I believe that now? No, I don't think he was trying to scapegoat the victims. No, it come across like that just because of the nature of Speaker's Corner. It is so difficult to get your points across when you're in a massive group. Uh, Everybody gets affected by that dynamic, which is why I don't want to really chat in a group too much when it comes to grooming, because grooming is such a what I call complicated situation that I think it's better to speak about it in a smaller, more controlled environment. So, like I said, I'd prefer to have a re-chat about that. And we can get Rajiv in there again. I know I said I didn't like Rajiv, but I spoke to him yesterday online, and in the beginning it was very I was going for him quite hard. And the reason I went for you, Rajiv, if you're hearing, is because the only 2 times I've met you, you seem to be very controlling, like telling me to come over here and to do this and to do that. And if people start telling me to do things like that, I just get really annoyed. And straight away you got my back up when you do that. So when I spoke to him, he's a polite, nice guy. I don't agree with his views on the grooming, obviously, and I think his stats are complete garbage. Sorry. And so I will dispute that, but we'll have a civil conversation where we can sit down like adults and have a nice uh, discussion, because you should be able to talk to people even if you strongly disagree with them in a adult fashion. And sometimes I'm not. Uh, when I'm at Speaker's Corner, especially, I don't think people really understand what happens when I walk into the park. It's like sometimes I walk into the park and people are just walking up to me, abusing me. Like, I'm so used to it, it's normal. But after a while, your kind of like threshold for politeness starts to diminish. And so I have a situation like, people are just calling me the C word, yeah. Oh, hello, Raj. You're a C, CUNT, whatever it is. Oh, Raj, you're this. And so after a while, you're like very defensive with people. People pretend to take my photo with me, and it doesn't work anyway. I know what they're trying to do, and then they'll go, "Oh, you're a thingy," and all that kind of stuff. So I get that quite a lot. I'm going to go over a few things so that Jedi can kind of understand, because I think the problem with a lot of people is that we are tribal, whether you like it or not. When something happens to a particular group that is closely genetically close to you, like maybe whether they're African or whether they're Asian, in my particular case, whether it's right or wrong, we do seem to empathize just that little bit more, because those people remind you of people that are related to you. So, there's people that I've seen that look like my mum, or they look like my sister, and so sometimes it just their plight just seems to resonate that little bit more. And I'm not saying that's right. That's just human nature, unfortunately, and that's one of the flaws of humanity, which is why I'm a misanthrope. One thing I do want to say is that just so that Jedi, like I said, I don't think when Jedi was talking about tackling the vulnerability of girls, he's right. He is right in terms of that. That needs to really be tackled, but it's not the priority. It's not the number one. It's like a holistic approach, which Callum was saying as well. Big up Callum, and we need to have a kind of a whole setup, and which is what the Sikh community is doing, which is what I proved in my other video about Sikh Youth UK and Sikh Awareness Society, and I'm doing my own little thing through my artwork. I know that some people find it quite humorous that I'm doing artwork, and that's my bit. But trust me, artwork can get through to people in ways that you'd be surprised. I made my nephew go vegan by the amount of artwork I'd done, and I kept on showing him my artwork, and he's now vegan. I'm not saying that was the only reason, but it was a reason, because he kept on looking at my drawings and I kept explaining what was going on. And so I know that aspect. It wasn't trying to demean. Jedi wasn't trying to demean the plight of the girls or anything like that. What he was saying, that the girls need to be kind of helped as well and give them information. I agree with that. For me, in my opinion, I still say the way it came out raw. In my opinion, came out seeming like you meant something else. If I didn't talk to you again on that live stream, I probably still would have been pretty pissed, but because we kind of sat down, we talked on there, I understand where you're coming from. Hopefully we can have that chat, like I said, a real fruitful discussion. Go to the side with COE, me, you, and Rajiv, and we can go through the statistics, because I think the statistics on Rajiv are very, 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 very outdated and totally wrong at the moment. One of the things I do want to touch upon, one of my subscribers, big up, I've forgotten what the name is, so I really apologise. But if you look at, just so you have an understanding of the situation, 10 years ago, when was it? In 2005, there was a riot in Birmingham. And it was a Lizelle riot. Now, one of the things that people don't realise is that the reason the riots happened between the black and the Asian community or the Muslim community was because, if you look here, there was a rumour that a Pakistani shop owner had gang raped a Jamaican teenager. Now, that is something that, it resulted in a massive riot in Birmingham, from the black community, resulting in this young man dying. Isaiah Young, he got stabbed. And so people, when you have these situations, where these kind of what you call rape gangs are going around, no one got convicted or anything, but I'm 100% certain that this was true. These rumours have been going around all the time from Pakistani shop owners and stuff like that, things going on there. But with the what you call the black community, they went absolutely crazy, and I think that taught that particular the Muslim community that don't mess with our girls. And I'm not sure whether that's right or wrong, I'm not going to say, but this is another one. This happened in, when is it, 2013, but this is a Sikh situation. A girl had been prostituted and raped in a particular restaurant, and 7 men, 40 men went into this particular restaurant and busted up the restaurant and busted up everybody inside who were guilty, and 7 of the Sikh guys went to jail for this. This was in 2013. So what you're having is situations where Pakistani Asian Muslims, or just say Asian Muslims, I'm going to call them now, are going around, behaving in really, really kind of like barbaric manners, raping and grooming girls. And whether people like that or not, that's just the case, especially up north. I think because we live in London, we're not experiencing the same thing as up north. I think up north, things are much more ghettoized, and so people are not interacting in the same way, and not having the same kind of exposure to other people all the time. And so we're looking at things from a London perspective. But over there, up north, most of the cases are from up north. And so you have this situation where men, this is why I get very angry, men people in their community, girls in the community are getting raped by these Asian Muslim grooming gangs, then have to take the law into their own hand because the police don't do nothing. Same with that Lizelle thing. No charges were brought, nothing. And the girl, they said because she was an illegal immigrant, she didn't want to go to the police because she'd be deported. But that doesn't mean that she wasn't raped. And so you have these situation where the men of that community had to go out and do something, and that resulted in a riot, and ultimately in someone's death. And it was a death of one of the black community. And this is one of the things that always seems to happen. It seems to happen that the people that are trying to defend their girls are the people that are then punished. And same with the situation with the Mughal Dabar one, where the people that tried to get the groomers were the ones that went prison. As you can see, 7 men jailed, and the 7 men were the guys that some of the 40 people that went into that thingy. And look, all of their names are Sikhs. I'm not going to give their name, but they're all Sikh guys that got jailed. The other thing is about Rajiv's figures. This is a video of yours, Jed'I, called Beto Defence League, Britain First. And here you have stats that you've got up from the CEOP 2013 study. Remember, this is probably a year before all the massive cases of grooming broke out. And so it even says here 75% of recorded type 1 group abusers were Asian. Now, what do they mean by Asian? You know what they mean. So even in 2013 on a COP study remember this is your live chat, they said it was 75%. What I'm saying now is that 5 years on, after all of the kind of what I call Rotherham, Telford, Oxford, all of these cases, it's gone up to 84%. And so how can that be disputed? And the problem with Rajiv, and I'll say this, is that you're using 2011 statistics to justify your claim that it's not a Muslim Asian grooming gang problem. And I'm going to start using Muslim Asian grooming gang because it's not really a black problem. It's not really thingy. Obviously, there's a few here and there, but the same way there's like a handful of Sikhs in there as well. And there's a handful of Hindus, a handful of white people. But the majority are going to be from a Muslim background, whether that's Afghan, whether that's majority of them Pakistani, but there's also Afghans, Indians, Bengalis, and all that kind of stuff. So Asian Muslim grooming gangs is a much better title, in my opinion, and I think Callum was saying that last night as well. And so before we chat again, I want you to really look at your statistics. And remember, this is from the CEOP, an Irish government body, and Quilliam done another survey 5 years later. Now, when they done the survey 5 years later, the percentage went up from 75% to 85%. And the reason being is because of all the cases that then came after. Like I said, the Oxford, the Rotherham, the Telford and all of that. So all of those were then put into that, increasing the amount. There's no point trying to ignore this anymore. And this is why I bashed my head against the wall. Sarah said something really, really poignant. And so big up Sarah. And I think he made one of the biggest kind of like points, is that people don't look at it from the victim's point of view. They only seem to look at it from the kind of like looking at it very objectively. It's very hard for them to look at it when it's from the victim's point of view. Now, I've seen, the devastations firsthand of what this can do. And it doesn't just last a year. It doesn't just last the thingy. In fact, I think when people get older, it affects them more because they can understand that they were abused and they were used. Because when they're younger, sometimes they're in a Stockholm syndrome. And so they don't really understand what's happened to them. It's only as they get older they realise, oh, we was exploited, or we was raped, or we was this and that. And so, we need to start looking at it from the victim's point of view. And one thing I want to say is, like, when you see a grown man crying, and mothers crying and stuff like this, because their daughter is being raped and abused, that image sears in your brain. And sometimes when I'm like talking about this, and then people are trying to dismiss it, I'm not saying they're trying to dismiss it, it feels like they're trying to. So this is my own personal feeling. I feel like people are trying to dismiss the issue that the Sikh community has been facing for such a long time. My blood starts to boil, and I have to walk away from now on. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing. I'm going to keep on walking away, because I don't want to get into situations where I'm ranting and raving, because I don't think that's really me. It is me to a certain degree. I have an anger problem, and I admit that, and I can fly off the handle if I feel like I'm being kind of disrespected and stuff like that. But I've got to control it. That's my own vice. That's something that I've got to start controlling, because I think I'm losing a lot of arguments because of the way I'm speaking. If I'm speaking in a much more controlled, rational manner, like I can, and I normally am, I feel like I'll get my point across more. So I want to start controlling my conversations much more, so that I'm away from the groups. Because once I get into a group, I'm always getting kind of like the savages are normally, and the zombies and the gremlins are always kind of like trying to what I call I don't want to say push me down, but trying to kind of make my voice less than what it should be, and it does work sometimes from their point of view, because I then get distracted and I'm start targeting an individual rather than thinking about the bigger picture. Anyway, hopefully I can still have that chat with Jed'I and Rajiv. We're not gonna suddenly be bum chums or anything like that. We'll still disagree and everything, but I think if we can have a civil discussion, that would be great. Just I would ask, just for both Rajiv and Thingy, to look into the Lozelle riots and have a look how the black community reacted when one of their members of their community was raped by the Pakistani or the Muslim community. And then, I think what they did sent out a strong message, man. I'm not agreeing with rioting and stuff, but did it work? Yeah, it probably did, because I haven't heard that many cases of black girls now being targeted and stuff. It's been white girls and Sikh girls and Hindu girls. Anyway, I'm off then. I'm not sure if I'm going to be making it on Sunday, if I'm being certain. Shot my throat, and before everyone makes innuendo, oh, Tommy Robinson's been putting these, I'm not going to go into it, but I've got my throat, I've got a massive sore throat, and because I've been talking to so much as well, my voice is going, and I've got so much stuff to do. I've got family situation as well, so I've got to leave Sunday. As much as I want to go, it's best if I don't, so I'm going to have to keep off for a week. Hopefully the week after, we can carry on the conversation, but in a much more civil, constructive, productive, let's say productive. I want it to be productive. We don't have to agree, but let's at least let it be productive. Anyway, I'm going to be off then, so if I'm not there next weekend, and the weekend after, I definitely should be there. Anyway, take care, bye.